Selling a vacant house isn't as difficult as it may seem to be. In this video, we're going to go over the 10 tips on how to sell a vacant house for the most money possible. Stay tuned. What's up everybody, Andrew here with the Lake Team. Welcome back to our channel. We have another fantastic video lined up for you guys today. And if you are watching this on YouTube and you have not already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button down below, hit that bell icon, and go ahead and hit me a thumbs up if you do like this video or like any of our other videos on our channel. But here at the Lake Team, we try to produce the best real estate content for you guys each and every single week. So you can make the most educated decision whenever you are thinking about buying or selling real estate, especially down here in the Houston region. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move straight into today's topic, which is how to sell a vacant home. So first things first, let's talk about why a home might be vacant. If you're a seller watching this, you probably already know this answer of why your house is vacant. But there are several reasons why. Let's just go over some real quick. One could be it's a foreclosure, right? Maybe they got foreclosed on and that's a vacant house, but this video wouldn't even pertain to you at this point. Number two, let's go ahead and say that you inherited the property from a family member that had passed away. Number three could be you as a seller have already purchased a new home at this point, and so you've already moved out and now that house is sitting there vacant. And number four, last but not least, then maybe the property was a rental that you had. It was a rental property, an investment property of yours, and now the tenant has moved out and now you want to capitalize on the moment and go ahead and sell it. Now those are just several different reasons why a house may actually be vacant. Of course, you as a seller, if you're watching this video, you already know why your house is vacant in the first place. So we're going to go ahead and jump straight into why or how to sell a vacant house to maximize the most money possible. So keep in mind, vacant homes do attract squatters, they attract crime, they attract all kinds of unnecessary garbage that you don't want, right? So just bear that in mind whenever you are considering maybe buying a new house, moving out, and then selling it afterwards. So just bear that in mind. You are at risk for, in my opinion, you are more at risk for the squatters coming in your house. You're at risk for crimes, crimes happening over there at the house. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so tip number one is go ahead and leave all your utilities on in the house. Reason being is, of course, for showings. You want to maximize the showing experience. You want to have an overall showing experience for the buyers that are going to be walking through the house. And of course, you are going to need those utilities turned on anyways for inspections whenever whenever you do go under contract with a buyer. Tip number two, stage the house. Now you can either go virtual or you can go the real route. There's pros and cons to each. Now I did make a video on staging your properties or staging your houses, and I'll leave a link in the description of this video below, or I'll probably add it to a card up here. But nonetheless, you can find that video if you wanted to. But real quick, the difference of staging, pros and cons of each, right? So if it's vacant, it's going to be expensive to stage. Depending on the size of your house, you're looking at $2,000 to $3,000 to stage, and that furniture is probably going to stay in there for around 90 days, just depending on the stager that you work with. So it's more expensive to do that, but the pro for that is buyers can actually walk and visualize the house and visualize themselves living there. Everything's set up accordingly, and it looks fantastic, it looks beautiful. And so buyers don't feel empty. They don't feel that empty feeling whenever they're walking through your house. So that's a pro. Now the virtual route, it's the very least expensive route. I myself, our team pays for the virtual route for sure. If you guys wanted to go that direction, we pay for the virtual staging. If you do have a vacant house or vacant property to sell, it's not as expensive as the real staging or the real deal. But the major drawback on this one is when buyers do get to your house, they are going to have that empty feeling because they're not going to see any furniture there. So now they have to work, their minds have to work harder, and they have to visualize their furniture being there. Tip number three is make sure you hire the right agent. I can't stress this one enough. So make sure you get with the right agent that knows what they're doing, that knows how to handle vacant property, that knows how to communicate with you about your house, and that is competent for the contracts, for God's sake, right? So make sure that you hire the right agent for the job. I can't stress this enough. And if you don't know an agent, that you don't know anybody that you like or you trust, now's the time to go ahead and get started on the interview process. Start start Googling agents near you, or start Googling the best realtor in your area, and check out all their reviews, check out their social media, their website. And if you are in Houston, make sure you go to har.com, because that is our MLS that we use. And so all these third-party websites, don't take that one for granted, or don't rely on information from third-party websites, because agents have to physically go in and update sales, update reviews, and it's a whole bunch of nonsense. But HAR is where you should be solely focused on to try to find a new agent. Whether it be myself, our team, or somebody else, another agent, just make sure you interview them and talk with them first before committing to anybody. Tip number 4 is professional photography. Now, this is going to go hand in hand with hiring the right agent for the job to do this, right? So professional photography goes a long way. First impressions matter, right? First impressions matter because most home buyers today are finding their house online. They're finding it on the HAR, they're finding it on Zillow, they're finding it through their agent that sends it to them through their portals or through HAR. So professional photography goes an extremely long way. And if you hire the right agent to sell your house in the first place, that's a no-brainer. They're gonna hire a professional photographer to come out there and get the job done, rather than the old school agents, I should say, or the other agents who just don't really care. They're gonna take some cell phone photos that look like they took it from a flip phone camera, right? So don't be that guy that ends up hiring an agent that doesn't really care what your property looks like online. Make sure you have professional photography done, and make sure during the interview process that you ask them, if they haven't yet to explain, what kind of photos do you do. Tip number 5, this goes back to the beginning when I talked about vacant homes can attract squatters and certain crimes in the areas. What I would suggest to you guys is go ahead and get a security system set up. Whether it be cameras, whether you hire Xfinity, ADT, whatever the case is, go ahead and set up a security camera, security systems. That way you have that extra layer, that extra blanket of protection. Tip number 6, go ahead and make sure all of your deferred maintenance and all of your repairs are complete at this point. You don't want to have a buyer walk through the property and look at all this deferred maintenance that's been going on, and the property just looks like it needs a lot of work, even though it really might not need that much at all. In a buyer's eyes, they freak out over everything and every minor detail. Buyers are spoiled rotten today. So just make sure any of the deferred maintenance that you've been putting off for a long time, whether it's, if you had it as a rental or you just inherited the property, make sure that deferred maintenance is caught up, and you have that way how do I put this? That way you have the best overall, or the buyers have the best overall experience whenever they're looking at your house. So tip number 7, going back to the seller's disclosure video that I did not too long ago. If you haven't watched that, I will also leave a link or a card up here, or a link in the description somewhere around this video. I will put the link for our video for the seller's disclosure. But at this point, you want to go ahead and fill out the seller's disclosure and disclose any type of repairs that you have done in the past or that need to be done that you just don't feel comfortable doing. Whatever that may look like, if it's foundation repairs, or if it's previous foundation repairs, or if it's roof repairs, HVAC stuff. I mean, whatever the case is, everyone's different. Every property is unique in their own way. So, and now's the time to go ahead and get all of that stuff disclosed to the potential buyer. That way they can make their decision on moving forward or not. Tip number 8. Now, this might jack up your electricity bill a little bit, but you don't have to do all of them, but I would keep some lights on in the house. You don't want a pitch black dark house. You just don't want that. All you're doing is inviting someone to break in. So my suggestion would be to leave all the front porch lights on, all the back porch lights on, and then I would also turn on a few lights throughout the house. You don't have to turn every single light on in the house, but maybe a few lights here and there, maybe one in the kitchen, maybe one in maybe a living room or a bedroom. Just turn some lights on in the house, that way it doesn't look like it's just been totally abandoned. Number 9, I can't stress this one enough either, which is keeping up with all of your yard maintenance. The last thing you want is a grass that's grown 6 feet tall. I mean, that's just terrible. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to look like you've been neglecting your property whenever you're trying to sell it. So make sure you have somebody on schedule to come out there at least once a week or once every other week to get your yard mowed, to pull weeds out of flower beds, and things of that nature. That way your property, your curb appeal stays in tip-top shape all year round. Tip number 10, last but not least, this one here is one of my favorites, and this one also goes back to hiring the right agent to get the job done. Make sure that your agent is checking up on the property periodically, especially if you're not even here anymore in the Houston area. We have a seller that we're working with right now that relocated to Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm going over there to check on the property every now and then to make sure nothing is wrong with it. Even though we are under contract with the buyer right now, I'm still going to go over there and check on it to make sure there is no squatters, there's no one's broken in, there's no broken windows, things of that nature. The house isn't destroyed. So the last thing I want is just a surprise at the very end when we get to closing. But you know what I mean? I want to take care of my sellers the best I possibly can. And so I know they can't do it because they're not even here in the state anymore. And so it's my obligation to make sure to make sure my sellers are comfortable and they know that their property is being well watched and taken care of by the agent that they hired. All right, guys, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, or if you have any additional topics that you'd like us to cover, go ahead and put that in the comments, and we'll feel free to make that suggestion, and we will make a video covering your topic or your questions. If you do have any other questions and you don't want to leave a comment, you can visit us directly on our website, and from there you'll be able to reach out to us. All our information is over there as well. And if you have not already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button down below, and give me a thumbs up if you did like this video, thumb down if you hate my face, and hit that bell icon if you do want to get notified to be the first person to get notified whenever we release new videos about all things real estate. So that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. I'm Andrew with the Lake Team here in Houston, Texas, and I will see you guys next week.